Hi and welcome back to Fpl Iq. We're here today. We're back for just a general chat. We just want to talk about our teams and chip plans and strategies and fixtures, and just have a little bit of a FPL therapy. It's a little bit strange because I think you guys, Tien specifically, I think you're doing quite well still this season, but you're still a little bit similar to me, a little bit drained, a little bit disorientated with the game. What's your rank at the moment, Tien?
I think last I checked was 40-something thousand.
And that
So
for
just,
me,
yeah.
it's crazy that it's so highly ranked, but you're just like, I don't know. What's your general feeling about it?
I don't know. It just feels like especially after the last international break, right? I was like totally off Twitter, everything off FPL, busy with life, doing some other stuff, and as I post recently, I've got into actually more involved with the local football club. So now I'm playing, I'm refereeing, I'm managing my son's team, and I just find that real life stuff is more enjoyable. So
Yeah, I
I
don't,
don't know.
and it's
Like FPL
strange.
just suddenly just take the back seat, and it's like, I mean, it's got a few more weeks to the season end, but I just can't wait for it to end, really.
And
It's strange.
yeah, you're doing so well, and it's not like me who's sulking at 900k, like I'm taking my ball and going home. Like I don't want to play anymore. But you're really doing. And I know Bateman's in the chat, and I think he's got a ridiculous rank himself. I think he's in like the top 500 or top 1000. Marcus, where are you ranked at the minute? I'm pretty sure he's something like 400 and something, I think I saw him put on Twitter. But anyway, Ryan, how are you doing? I think you're above me now, quite clear. I think you're the clear second.
Oh, don't worry, you never know. A couple of weeks, I could be down with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess before Gameweek 28, I was feeling like nice. I was like on a consistent run of green arrows for the first time, and then now I've just gone. After Gameweek 28, I've just been a red. Now I've gone from like 287 in 2028 to now I'm like 429. So I know the Gameweek is not over. There's still a few more big names to play. It could very well change back, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. Maybe looking back at it now, I wish I didn't play the free hit for me, because like I'm trying and win mini leagues, but those above me, they went with the risk of no Haaland, and then you keep Haaland, and it hasn't paid off. If anything, it's like backfired a bit more because they've got like stacked midfields, which you see now. I've had to make sacrifices, like Foden gone, kind of burnt me today. So a bit of mixed feelings, but it's still like 7 game weeks to go after this. 6 game weeks to go. 2 big doubles to come, or maybe 3 doubles to come. So still anything is possible, but I'll probably have to take a bit more risk, which I don't mind actually. Makes the game interesting.
Yeah, we're all, I think, really different with our teams and strategies and plans, and we're going to go through each one as well. Again, another good thing about us is we're not just a range of ranks, but we're a range of different playing styles and reasons and plans as well. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. It just feels this season specifically has felt like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's like I'll bring a player who does quite well and I get absolutely smashed by like a Foden, like for example. And I just posted on Twitter, I'm going to just quickly bring up the Foden thing. I think it's incredibly lucky, the Foden haul, and I think it's massively unlucky for the people who sold him. Man City had not beaten a top 5 team all season. No Haaland and no Kevin De Bruyne, and he gets a hat-trick from 0.41 XG. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Aston Villa are 4th in the Premier League, and they've just been smashed 4-1. And they've got rid of the shackles of being, a poor away side, and they've just gone there and been absolutely thumped with Foden, a hat-trick off 0.41. how can you combat that? So I chose Diaz. He's got doubles up and coming. You know, he's yet to play, but he's got Sheffield United. But then it's the popular picks that just keep really coming back to. It's like you can't differentiate at all this season. I went a streak without Saka. He just would trundle along and punish. I haven't got Haaland now, and thankfully that's not got me yet, but I'm sure it's going to smash me at some point. But that's just how it feels a lot this season. It's just felt like it's just one step forward, two steps back. And you guys know every week I've always had like 2 flags in my team or 3 flags in my team, and I've wildcarded, right? I already had a flag on my wildcard that wasn't confirmed until after the deadline, which was Richards at Crystal Palace, and then Saka's flagged. So I've still got flags in my brand new, fully wildcarded team. Nothing I can do about it. Absolutely nothing. That's why this is FPL Therapy. We're here to discuss our problems, have a little bit of vent about it, and talk about how we're going to overcome these problems, basically. We're going to kick off with just the fixture projections that Tien saw from James from Planet FPL about where they predict or where they think the fixture is going to go. I'll be able to maybe zoom in or just make it just a touch bigger, especially for the teams that we're more interested in. Let me just move these out of the way. Sorry, I'm getting rid of a little picture there. Cuts have a little bit. Okay, that'll do. We don't need to look at West Ham and Wolves. Sorry, but we're not. I don't think we're looking at those assets. I'm terribly sorry, Hammers fans and Wolves fans, but that's the way it is. So, Jen, if you want to just go through the fixtures and anything you want to bring out the points about this.
Actually, before I go, how are you going with the earthquake and stuff? Like your family and friends and everyone keeping well?
It was a good job I was wearing my brown underwear to work. I'll tell you that yesterday. I was wearing my brown pants, thank God. It's a sensation that so I'm from England, right? And we don't have anything. We don't have typhoons. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have volcanoes. And I've been here like 12 years, and I've had like 1 or 2 quite big ones, including in the same place where the buildings have gone over or half over, like tilted. But yesterday was. I thought so. In 1999, there was a huge earthquake near to where I live now. And I work quite close to where I live. And when that earthquake hit yesterday, I thought it was that place kicking off again because it's quite an active place. But it wasn't. It was 90 kilometers away, and it still hit my area that hard. So as soon as I saw that actually it was on the east coast in Hualien, I was just straight on the messaging, trying to get hold of my friend who's out there. And it was really bad. I was in the office with 2 of my co-workers, and it started going, and one of my co-workers was here in 1999. So actually having him there helped because he was scared. I was like, oh, it's a big one, but he wasn't freaking out because he's obviously experienced the big one. And everything's swaying. I can't explain it because some people can feel it in the head. I don't know if it's a liquid in your brain or whatever, but you can feel like a kind of swaying and dizziness. But there's nothing more surreal than even when we were outside and another earthquake hit, one of the aftershocks hit, you're looking at the ground, something that is in your head a fixture, like it's immovable. It's the strongest thing you know is the ground, and it's moving, and you just can't explain the feeling of it. It's horrible. But when you're in the office and you're 6 floors up and it's literally swaying, awful. And I was in the doorway because they tell you to go in a doorway when it's getting really bad. And I was holding the door open to be in the doorway, and the bookshelf shot forward and smashed the door that I was holding open to be in the doorway. So that knocked me back. So yeah. And then there was 2 quite big earthquakes, aftershocks afterwards, that were like there's a 5 and a 4 or something after that as well. And just constantly over there, it's constant. And here even today we've had like 3 or 4 like aftershocks as well. So Yeah.
I mean, I was just half joking that we might catch one live, but
Yeah,
yeah. So
it's
joke
happened once
aside, well,
before. It has happened once before, but you can't get used to it. Like you can get used to like typhoons and stuff. You can like buckle down, but an earthquake is you're looking your coworkers in the eyes and you're just like, well, I hope we make it through. Like there's nothing you can do. You're 6 floors up. You can't see. Most people get injured because they stand up and move during the earthquake, and either something lands on them or they fall over and get hurt. So you literally sitting there thinking, well, I hope this building stays up. It's horrible. Your life is literally out of your hands. There's nothing you can do. But yeah,
crazy.
it's horrible.
Crazy.
Horrible.
Well, anyway, we're glad you're fine and your family and friends.
And obviously that was
I think that's
almost
the main thing. Yeah.
almost as scary as, because the office I'm in it's built within like the last 10 years, so it's more structurally sound, because all buildings since 1999 have specific like procedures and stuff to keep it more earthquake proof. And one of the scariest parts is obviously getting on the phone to my wife to make sure her and my daughter are okay, because they're at this building where we live and that's older than that, so you're just kind of worried about them, but fortunately it's okay. So yeah.
Anyway, back to FPL.
Which is almost as depressing for me, but yeah.
Yeah. I think you've hidden Wolves because they do have a.
I have,
as well, right?
I have, but I didn't think we cared as much about them. I'll bring them up. There we go.
Yeah, I think we'll just quickly go over this. It's there's no point going too much into the detail here, because obviously we don't know the doubles after 34. So at the moment it's just projection from James Planet FPL, that we will definitely have a bigger double in 37, but the remaining game between Chelsea and Spurs currently is predicted to be on in 36. So I think we'll have to wait and see. But basically, obviously a lot of people. So the three of us gonna go through our teams, right? And I think so. Rob, you're run out of chips. You're chipless, right? I have my wild card, and I think Ryan, you got your wild card and the bench boost, right? Yeah, and then quite a few people will have the free hit on top of that as well. So obviously, if people haven't played the wild card, and I think a lot of people did play the wild card this current game week, right, in 31. But if you haven't, then obviously there's one strategy is to maybe dead end to 34 and wildcard from 35 and set up for the bench for 37, for example. I don't know whether it's better to bench boost in 34 or 37, because they kind of look kind of the same. There's some good and some bad fixtures, but I think personally, if I still had the bench boost, I would try to actually dead end to 34, play the bench boost then, and wildcard out of it rather than wildcarding into it to play in 37, for example. But obviously, that's just me. So a lot of people will be, looking at, free hitting in either 34 or 37 if they still have the free hit left, and that determine what transfers they're making, because obviously, you can just take that game week fixtures away and focus on the other weeks. I don't think there's a clear path, like a template path as such. I think people do seem to make it on Twitter that, you got a free hit in 34 and you got a bench boost in 37. I don't think it's that clear cut. So I think it just, just look at the team and see where things land and yeah, do it accordingly. I don't think there's a template path that people can go from now to the end of the season. Yeah, so I think that's where things are, really.
Yeah. So Ryan, as someone who's still got their bench boost, before, like, you'll do a big part on what you're doing later, but what are you thinking early on now?
When Tian said like bench boost in 34 and then wildcard 35, it makes sense because you don't you don't load up on bench players in terms of team value. You don't have to spend it for the last couple of weeks, and you can go fully strong on the first 11. And I think it could have been a possibility for me if this goes back to Game Week 28. If I didn't load up on Bournemouth players, and mainly I didn't load up on their defense, where everyone else, who obviously either free hitter in 29 or even wasn't free hitter in 29, they did load up on the defense. Because I looked at just that week's fixtures and went, these aren't really clean sheet worthy. And now looking back at it now, with Bournemouth getting the double that they got in 34 as well, and with the good fixtures, maybe I could have loaded up, and then maybe I would have been in a situation where I could have bench boosted. But now I have like both keepers at the moment, no double game week. I've got the likes of Reguilon still in my team, Garnacho in my team, Pedro Porro in my team. So I've got too many single game weekers there, and to get to a decent bench boost, it will require a bit more hits, which I don't want to. I've already taken a -8 so far, between 30 and 30, 31, 2 -4s. And that was a max I was going to take before dead ending. Unless obviously injuries happen, then you kind of like forced in more hits. But because of that, I was like, okay, I'll just dead end into 34 and then wildcard. And also because even when wildcarding, we still have good enablers, because Palm is still relatively cheap. Garnacho in midfield is also another really good enabler with good fixtures. So it's not too bad of an issue. The only problem that will happen is, I think now Tien's team, he has Saka, Son, Salah, Foden, and Haaland, right? When I wildcard in 35, probably will have to make a sacrifice somewhere. In terms of, probably Salah will have to go. That's the one key thing, I guess, which I might have to think about. So we'll see. But at the moment, I can't bench boost. Team is not ready.
Yeah, we always say, like, caveat. It is team dependent. I know it always sounds like a cop-out, but it really is. I mean, if you sat there with like 2 doublers, we're not going to say, yeah, bench boost, it has to be 34. But then like 36, 37, you got triple Spurs, triple Chelsea. Obviously, you're going to bench boost in that week when they do it, right? So, yeah, it is team dependent to an extent. So, sorry. So are we going to go on to our teams and plans and reasons, starting off with the most depressing one. So my team that I wildcarded in. So the first thing I'll say, the first sort of caveat I want to bring out, and I always have to mention this on Twitter or on here, the plans I make or the suggestions I give other people, or even like on this show, isn't always correlated with what I do with my own personal team. I'm much more reckless and risky with my own personal team than I am suggesting what I think is the best way to play or an ideal or optimal way to play. So I played my free hit in 29 with the idea to dead end to game week 34. And then 35 wildcard for the other doubles, right? I still think that is the correct play to make. I haven't done that for my own reasons of I want to attack now, and I'm not focusing on doubles anymore. Because I've attacked with quantity over quality pretty much every single double game week this season with hits or even no hits, and I've just really prepared to attack like every double, I think, except Luton Burnley. But I even had, I think you were with me, right, Tien? We had Morris. You had him as Morris. So I even did partially the Luton side. I even did attack that double game week by having, I think I had Kaminsky, right? I had Kaminsky and Morris. So I'm not doing it anymore. And I'm focused. So why have I wildcarded now? Because I am focused on the top 4 teams, basically, with Palmer, Isak, and Son. Palmer, he's the best pound-for-pound player in the entire game. And in history, I think I saw one tweet posting that he's the best, like, money-to-value player ever. Son, because he's the talisman, but they're top 4, so I don't have to talk about Son. And Isaac, because of fixtures and form, because especially later in the season, Newcastle have like the best attacking fixtures, and they're great in attack. And I need another striker, because I've already got Darwin from Liverpool. So I wildcarded early, because I've just got the top 4, plus Palmer. And they've still got the title to chase. I also really wanted to rearrange my defence because Arsenal and Manchester City are absolutely clear. Arsenal's attack is clearly the best in the league. So I'll just put on the screen as well. And we'll keep flicking for these. So this is... it's a little bit small. I get these stats from Fantasy Football Scout and I pay for that membership. I'm not sponsored by them. This is where I get my information from. So goals conceded in the last 6. Arsenal's conceded 2. City's conceded 3. Then it's Liverpool with 5. But even going on to the XGC, Arsenal and Man City are absolutely clear. So Arsenal are first with, I think it's 3.04 expected goals conceded. And then Brighton in third is 6.29. So Arsenal are clear. Man City are a very, very strong second. So... I just wanted to sort out the defence, so I've got double City and double Arsenal. So what I mean by that is I have a goalkeeper from City, which at the moment is Ortega, but it would have been Ederson, but he was ruled out. And I've got Gvardiol, and I've got Gabriel and White. So double. I wanted Arsenal and City as my defenders. The end. Don't want to look at that for the rest of the season. I didn't go for I went for Saka for effective ownership. And he's a talisman. I know he didn't play yesterday. He's feeling sick or he's injured or whatever, but he's usually the main man for Arsenal. I had some protection despite it being an attacking wildcard. But Arsenal are the most overachieving attacking side in the Premier League by a long way. So I went for just 1 attacker and 2 defenders from them. I went for Diaz over Foden. And that was like the only player where I went for quantity over quality because I know Foden's a better player. But I thought Liverpool had the fixtures and I did not predict. I've already said it was quite lucky that Foden got a hat-trick. I didn't predict he was going to get a hat-trick in that game. It happens. I've got no Haaland. I chose that on purpose, obviously. But I've got money in the bank. I can go to Haaland in 2 moves. If I want to, but I still don't really think I want to because I'm 900k and it's all or nothing. There's no point in ticking along with Haaland and having that option as captaincy as well. I'm spreading the funds. I've got a top 4 team and they're all in title race and the race for Champions League. So I don't see too much rotation and I'm fine with my bench players as well. Because I don't have a bench boost, my bench is very cheap but very effective as well. So no Haaland. I'm just going for it. And I'm going to try and get that with differential like strikers like a Darwin and an Isaac up front. I still end up with a flag with Richards, but also Saka as well. But I went with Semenyo over Muniz because Semenyo gives me my 9th double game week 34 players. So even though I've wildcarded now, I'll have 9 double game weekers for 34, and I've already got Son and Palmer and Man City players who will double after 34. And because they're quite expensive, so I've got Son. I might sell Son and bring him back in later, but because I've got quite expensive players like Darwin and Saka and Diaz, I can switch those for free to players who do have doubles if I do want to attack the future doubles as well. So maybe like a Saka to a Gordon. And I think that gives me Darwin to Haaland, if that's what I want to do. But I'm likely just going to go like Diaz to Foden or Diaz to Kevin De Bruyne or something like that as a big differential. I've got no more chips and I've got 4.7 million in the bank, which is really kind of like 2.9 million in the bank if I end up going from Ortega to Ederson. So just for the rest of the season, I've got no chips, but my players are set and my moves are made in the sense of I've got 9 double game weekers ready for 34. I'm sure I'm going to get injuries at some point. And then after 34, I'll probably keep Salah and I'll start to change Diaz and Darwin and maybe Saka and change them for players from good teams who will have double game weeks, like a Gordon. Or when it gets real deep in the season and I'm really like having to shoot my shot, I'll go for like Mudryk or Sterling or, players like that to just really roll the dice. But yeah, so that's it for my team. I just wanted to bring in the top 4 now whilst they're all still in the race. And also, just the likes of, if we get deeper in the season, when Saka and Arsenal are still in the title race, but they're also still in the Champions League, and we might see some rotation, that's when I might try and sell them. But if Arsenal are out of the Champions League, but they're still in the title race, I'll keep Saka because he'll definitely get played, kind of thing. So yeah, that's my thinking anyway. But at the minute, the only transfer that's in my mind is Ortega to Ederson, and the only other transfer is Son to Kevin De Bruyne or Phil Foden for game week 33 against Luton. But that'll go back to Son after Newcastle, and maybe skip Arsenal as well, unless that becomes a double game week. So yeah. Open to thoughts and criticisms and etc. I just will point out as well, I went with triple Liverpool attack because, like Arsenal and City in defence, Liverpool are clear in attack. And I've had Diaz earlier in this season. I wasn't particularly impressed by him, but his numbers have shot right up. And I think he's second or third in the player stats for expected goal involvement and things like that. I think Ryan's going to check that now. And I always check the last 6 games, but I think in the last 6 he's first or second or third. And I don't know if it's non-pen goal involvement, but yeah, he's up there in the stats. So I just went triple Liverpool attack because I don't believe in the defence, and the attack is the best in the league, just like the City and Arsenal defence is the best in the league. So there you go. Tien, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is there. I think it's a good idea to attack, and yeah, you rarely have a season where the title race is still very, very tight and pretty much on. So yeah, targeting top players from top teams makes a lot of sense. I remember you went back and forth a lot with your wildcard team, right? In our group chat, and I think a few of my points that I mentioned to you during that time, and I think it still stands, is that you lack Man City attack, and I'm not saying because of Foden hat trick, right? I said at the time that I feel like you should still have a Man City attack, whether it's Foden or Haaland. I think you needed one. And yeah, you chose to go triple Liverpool attack is obviously solid. We don't know how they're going to go this week because they're yet to play, and obviously they have the double as well, so that makes sense. But yeah, you know the kind of things that Man City can do, and they can turn up at any point in time, right? And obviously Foden has done it several times this season, right? When people sold him at masses today, he just turned up with a hat trick. He's already done it twice. And then people will be thinking about, Haaland has been quiet for the last few games. I'm not surprised that he will be the one who will turn big this weekend because he had a full rest, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if Foden is the one that get rested because that's what he get with playing the pep roulette. But I think he just got to take that just take that on the chin, and target the team that are strong, and they are strong. They are proven. So I think that's probably the biggest hole that I can see in your team. So obviously, you do have plan to bring that Foden back in. Personally, if I was you, I wouldn't have gone for Ortega. I don't like the idea of booking a transfer for a goalkeeper. If you were planning.
Just because Ederson is ruled out indefinitely, and I thought it could have been another Alisson situation where he's not training, he's not with it. So I thought I could have got 2 or 3 game weeks. That was why.
Yeah, no, I get that. But if it was me, I would just forego the Man City goalkeeper and get some cheaper goalkeeper that play twice, in a double game. Because if it's been proven over and over again that goalkeepers do not really make a difference. If you play the numbers, you just get a cheaper goalkeeper that has a double, and you hope for the best. Yeah, and then
but I
you have
could
a
keep.
density spot open.
Yeah, I could keep Ortega and just have him as a dead goalkeeper and have the money as
Yeah,
well.
no, but then
So
you've
that's
got a
another reason.
maxi spot taken. If you want, let's say, if things do change drastically and you want double city attack, then you're stuck, right? So I think that's
I won't go
probably
double city
the
attack.
thing with going. Yeah, I know you won't, but there's always the chance that you might want to, and you can't. And that's the thing with like going for the top teams is the fact that there's generally a lot of options that you want to get from them, and you don't want to lock yourself out. But other than that, I think it's pretty solid without, because you don't have the bench boost to worry about. So just focus on your top, starting 11, and yeah, I mean you just gotta make good decisions and hope for the best. And I think targeting top teams, top players is the right play.
Yeah, just before I go on to Ryan's thoughts about it, I'll just quickly read out the team and just say the backup reasons. So, goalkeepers are Henderson and Ortega. So Man City will double later in the season, and Henderson will double in 34. So the idea would be to just play Henderson in the 34 double, and then the City goalkeeper in their doubles. Gabriel, White, Gvardiol. Backup as Byrne and Richards. So Richards, I know he's got a knock now. Hopefully he's going to be back for the double, but he's got a double in 34. And I think, is that the week that Arsenal play Spurs? Or
Play Chelsea.
whoever, I know he can come in for that. So he'll come in for an Arsenal or City defender just for a double. And then as backup, after 34, Newcastle's run is just incredible. So if Gvardiol ends up getting Pep Rouletted, Byrne comes in and he's got a place like Sheffield United or Burnley, something like that. So it's great. Saka, Palmer, Salah, Son, Diaz. So 4 of the 5 of those guys are absolute staples, but not all of those players together. I see a lot of people with those 4 players, but not all at the same time. So I don't see a lot of Saka and Salah and Son, because they'll have Haaland as well. And Diaz is a differential, I think. I don't think I'll have him. And then Darwin and Isaac up front. Isaac doubles later. Only focus on top 4. Wilson is out injured. He's in good form. They've got great fixtures at the end of the season. And Darwin, I don't know why I've got Darwin. If I'm absolutely honest, he's an absolute punt. Just tripled up on Liverpool attack, and he's probably not even going to play today. But I just thought, you know what, he's got a double coming up, and there you go. And Semenyo is my third one because he doubles in 34. And when one of my defenders or midfielders have a tough fixture, so for example, I might not play Diaz this week against Manchester United. I might play Semenyo because he's away to Luton. So that was the reason why I chose him over Muniz as well, because when I have a quite difficult fixture or one where I don't think there might be a great return, Semenyo ends up having like a Luton or a Forest or something like that. So yeah. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm hoping Darwin plays today. I need him very badly for points for my mini league, because no one else above me has Darwin for some strange reason. So he's an absolute differential for me. You were mentioning about Diaz. I went and checked the stats. I don't know if this last 6 game weeks includes this week as well. It might. I don't know. But out of the midfielders, Diaz is currently 4th. I think 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 5th. But the 4 above him are Foden, Brennan Johnson, Havertz, and Son. Out of that, 3 out of the 4 returned this week. So I'm assuming that has kind of pushed him up. So I guess before the game week started, Diaz would have been up there when you mentioned the top 2 or something. So that makes sense. We'll wait and see. Maybe he'll move up this week as well.
It was Salah and Diaz at the top when I was wildcarding.
Salah is not here for some strange reason. Oh well. Anyways, ignore me. The rest, I mean, the thing is, I guess this is where you not having a bench boost helps in one way or the other, because like if you had a bench boost, I think you probably wouldn't have gone for Isaac, or you might have gone for Isaac and wildcarded in 34. But then you might have not focused on like a Heung-min Son or something like that potentially. I don't know. So this is where like, because I am thinking of dead ending in like 34, and I've kind of like avoided Isaac. and I've lost out on what now? That's 15 and 8, 20, 23 points of like pretty good fixtures with 2 more good fixtures to come, attacking wise for Newcastle. So those are, I guess, the pros and cons of like when you set yourself to the mast and you're like, I'm going with this plan, and you tend to miss out on players, but you get points elsewhere as well. So all wins and losses, but I mean, I don't mind it. The Ortega one, I guess, we'll wait and see what happens. In terms of that, maybe worst case scenario, you probably have to make a goalkeeper transfer, but the way everything is going in injuries and all, who knows what will happen. So we'll see. I'm not too worried. I kind of agree with Tien in terms of, I think the one thing was with no Haaland, probably should have had at least one City attacker. That's probably the only thing. Apart from that, to be honest, I think the rest of the team is fine.
Yeah, I could have, because you saw I had Foden over Diaz, and I had a Liverpool defender in. I think it was Van Dijk I had, because that was my decision. And I know Foden and Van Dijk's better on paper, but this gave me the money. But I just chose Liverpool because, like I said, I'm trying to attack the rank, and I just think if Foden doesn't come away with a hat trick yesterday, I don't think it's as much as a problem.
It is a bit of luck because even that first goal, like the wall, if they did that job,
Zanolo, right? Oh, he moved. You know, old school dinosaur training. If that would have happened in my football club growing up, the manager would have had him standing there, and the whole team would have been kicking balls at him. I'm not joking. Like, that was definitely something the manager would have been doing, like as like a punishment to say, "Don't move. We're all going to take a free kick right now with just you standing there, just to face the ball and get hit with it." But I completely can see it. Like, look, if I'm sat here with Foden over Diaz, we're saying this is a fantastic and maybe a different goalkeeper. It would have been perfect, right? But. It is what it is.
Obviously, Foden got the 20 points this week, but with Pep coming out and saying next week he's going to play a different team, there's nothing stopping Pep from benching Foden next week. So,
and I had thought about that because a lot of people, myself included, thought Foden wasn't going to play this game, but it was De Bruyne and Haaland that got dropped. And look, let's not rule out Diaz just yet. You know, Diaz might pull something off. What were the stats you're looking at? Because I'm looking at the non-penalty XG, and Diaz is top over the last 6.
Oh, I'm looking at XG non-pen. Oh, no, wait.
Non-pen XG. Diaz is top with 4.66. Salah is second with 3.95.
I think this table has filters added to it. Like minutes per goal involvement in the box at 1.
I'm unfiltered. He's also underachieving, is Diaz. That was the other reason. I like to get players that are posting good stats but underachieving. But we have what we call the Darwin rule, where a player's going to turn the corner and make that negative into a positive. But Darwin is just constantly in a negative and can't overcome it. But there you go. But yeah, I think that's it for my team. I've got no chips left. It's all down to transfers and captaincy. And I'll just try and keep it spicy with some captaincies. I mean, I think I'm going Son against Forest in this game week. But Salah away to United, you never know. Because Manchester United are the worst for expected goals conceded right now. Right, most shots. If I put the defensive one up, so goals conceded, United aren't doing too bad there. But if you go into the expected goals conceded, they are the worst team in the Premier League. So, and I think, is it shots? Are they second worst for shots as well? Man United?
They're just bad.
No, the worst. You're the worst. 143 shots Manchester United have faced in 6 games. Sheffield United have conceded 135. So having Salah, I felt really hard done by. One, I thought he should have got an assist in the last, because he was my captain last week, right? He should have got an assist because he headed it into the general area. You don't have to pick out a specific teammate, didn't get the assist, and wasn't it like the most chances he's ever had in a Premier League game?
Number of shots.
Yeah, most shots taken in a Premier League game, and he's walked away with 7 points, which that's the way it is. So maybe he's the captaincy going into next week. So who's next on the list? I think it's Ryan.
Me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yours is up now.
All right. So just to give an idea for people who can't see the team, basically I've got Dubravka in goal, Van Dijk, Gabriel, Branthwaite for the moment in defense, Salah, Palmer, Saka, Odegaard, Darwin, Solanke, Haaland, and on the bench I got Garnacho, Pedro Porro, and Reguilon. Now, obviously, I did mention current idea is to dead end in 34, wildcard 35, bench boost 37. This is why I can't really bench boost 34 because too many single game makers for the moment and will require a bit too much surgery to try and fix it to be able to bench boost in 34. Now, my issues at the moment, I guess. Oh, first of all, let me address my Foden factor because this is a therapy session and I'm trying to cling on to straws at this moment. So I got rid of Foden in Game Week 30 and I bought in Palmer. Now, I bought in Palmer alongside Van Dijk for a hit. So let's just assume that Palmer lost 2 points on that hit as well as part of it. So Palmer got 15 last week, 13 points, whereas Foden got 3 last week. So I was up by like 10 points before Foden scored his 20 this week. So Foden's kind of beating me like by 10 points, but who's to say Palmer against United? Nothing is to stop him from getting equaling Foden this week as well. So I'm okay with the overall decision so far because Palmer still has a game to go. Next couple of fixtures is also fine. And like we mentioned, there is a chance that Foden could get benched the next week as well. Whereas in Chelsea's case, Palmer is going to play every single game because he's literally the only player delivering for Chelsea, and Chelsea don't have the depth like City do to, or have the luxury to rotate like City do. So I'm okay with that. When we get to captaincy, hint, maybe one. So that is where I'm at. I mean, the only thing I'm disappointed with is Haaland, and I mentioned at the start it did backfire. Obviously, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but at that time, I probably still wouldn't have sold Haaland because I was hoping him to do something. Like I thought he would do something, but 2 blanks and a benching doesn't really help for the most expensive player in the game. So it is what it is. We take it on the chin. Maybe next week he plays against Luton. Luton next?
Palace, then Luton.
Palace, yes. Sorry. So maybe he plays against Palace.
And then not against Luton. Another reason I got rid of Haaland is because the Champions League's coming up and it's around the Luton game. So I thought if he's going to get benched again, it's going to be then. Yeah,
so if it happens, it happens. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But now my current issues are with defense. Now, obviously, Spurs just can't seem to keep a clean sheet for whatever reason. And I've got a Pedro Porro, and I have no money in the bank. So I kind of need to sell Porro to try and fund any other move going forward. And I've been thinking of whether I sell Porro this week for an Ant Nouri, who plays West Ham. But at the way Nouri's playing because of the injuries to Hwang Hee-chan and all, he's literally playing like left wing or almost like a forward. Now, I could sell Porro and play Ant Nouri this week for a free transfer. Or I could start Porro or start Branthwaite. I've also considered the fact of potentially benching Virgil van Dijk. Because as bad as United are, I still think we'll score, potentially. And maybe start Porro and Branthwaite. I don't know. I'm kind of confused on defense. The only thing I know is Gabriel is starting, and I have no idea anyone else is, like what else to do. So, and obviously I'm stuck with Dubravka. If by some miracle Areola is recovered by the 32, then I'll start Areola, but I'm stuck with Dubravka at least for one more week before I move to another goalkeeper before 34. For the 34 at least. Yeah. So yeah, any help would be greatly appreciated. Or any criticism on the team.
Jen, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think the lessons that I've learned in the last couple of weeks is that, you shouldn't be rushing, trying to fix the team. Because, you play your defender, just pick the best of, best 3 of your 5 and play them and hope for the best. And like, because every week you look at the team and the urge is always there to fix a few things. Um, but you don't have the free hit or wild card every week. So yeah, I think the team looks fine. Yeah, it's well set up, and obviously picking the defenders is not straightforward, but I think you just play who you think has the like. I would definitely play Poro because he always had the attacking upside. Probably not keeping the clean sheet because Spurs don't do clean sheets, but yeah, in terms of attacking upside, he's up there. So I will try to find a way to play him. Yeah, but other than that, I think the team looks fine. I do like the Arsenal attack there, and I think Odegaard has been looking pretty good as well recently. So yeah,
Yeah, he was my differential, like I guess Rob's
yeah.
Diaz pick. And I did that long, like way before 28 as well, where I took a gamble on if Arsenal would have got that blank in 29. Obviously, it didn't work out, but it's kind of worked out now because they have the double in 34. And also, like a lot of people back then were going double Arsenal defense, and I needed to climb rank. So if I went double Arsenal defense as well, I'd probably go the same. But I've gone with the attack. Could have gone Kai Havertz, but I felt Odegaard, because he's Arsenal captain and second in line for penalties after Saka, is usually more minutes secure. So far it's working okay, but we'll see.
I lost. I told you guys this. I lost a lot of team value because I made the transfers and bought them back. So I had Gabriel for ages. I had Gabriel when he was like 4.9 or 4.8 or something like that. I bought him really early and I sold him because I had White and Saka and Odegaard until I was like, no, go double Arsenal defence. Go 2-1 like Man City. So I lost, what is it, 0.4 in just by being an idiot. So I did do a warning tweet, but guys, if you are going to wildcard, do it on an FPL planner or on a piece of paper and don't click confirm transfer, because I sold Gabriel and bought him back 0.4 million more expensive. Who else did I do? Oh, Son is 10.1 million for me now as well. So I lost the whatever value I had in him. I think the only person I didn't lose value in is Salah and Palmer, because they're like the only players that didn't leave my side. So just a warning. But to go back to Ryan's team, Ryan, I really like your team. I don't think there's now. Here's the big thing about Haaland, right? I would legit only sell Haaland on a wild card, because if you're not going to have him, all that money is worth. That's when you spread. So when I sold him on the wild card, that's because I've used that money to give me the squad that I've got. Right? If you sell Haaland and you're sat there with 5 million in the bank, you're going to wild card in 2 or 3 weeks, and you don't need the money because you're just doing one transfer at a time anyway. It feels pointless. Like, you're not getting the advantage of the risk that you're taking. If you sell Haaland for one player now, let's say Isaac, right? And you've got, what would that be? 6 million in the bank or something? 5 million in the bank, right? But you're done. You've made the transfer, unless you take hits. And then you're starting to eat in and make that risk even bigger. And then next week, you bring one more transfer in to use some of that money. But on a wild card, you would spread that 5 million over 5 or 6 players in one move. So I would not recommend selling Haaland as an individual sale. I would only recommend selling Haaland on a wild card to use that money.
Yeah, he's going nowhere now because like you said, there's too many hits to do any surgery, and also I do expect him to start the next game now because he got benched this one, because Pep is all about rhythm end of the day, so he's not going to bench Haaland for 2 games in a row.
No.
So I expect him to start this one. Luton one's a different story. Maybe he starts, maybe he doesn't. I'm a bit concerned about the Brighton one though, in 34. So in that specific situation, I might potentially even bench him because there's the FA Cup before in the same game week. So they have the FA Cup semi-final, Brighton, and I think it's a short turnaround between Brighton and their game week 35 fixture in terms of Forest. So I think they play Thursday and then Sunday, and then they have the Champions League after that. Which, if they go through, beat Real Madrid, then Champions League semis either against Bayern or Arsenal. Probably Arsenal at the way Bayern are playing. So that's another hard game. So I'm expecting potential benching either for 34. So maybe I might bench him there, but I don't know. We'll see that later. But yeah, for now he's in my team to the end of the season, effectively.
And similar to the point that you made about like when you sold Foden and you got the points elsewhere and you're like 10 points off. That's what people forget as well. Like if Haaland goes ahead and gets like a 10-pointer, people will immediately like say to me, you shouldn't have sold Haaland. Look, he's just smashed you. He's just got a 10-pointer. But then they won't actually think about, well, you've got Haaland plus 5 million players. I've not got Haaland, and I've got like 6 or 7 million players. So actually, it's not just Haaland against Darwin. It's Haaland and Braithwaite against Darwin and Van Dijk. You know, that kind of thing. Like, people always just take one move as face value. But the fact that you can use that Haaland money to turn all your 4 million defenders into 5 million defenders, or your 6 million mids into 7, 8 million mids, right? And you can do that twice or 3 times. You can improve a defender and 2 midfielders by like 2 levels. So I think that's always something that people forget as well. So even though, like you said, you sold Foden a couple of weeks ago, but it's not a 1-week game. Foden's punished you in the short term, but he's punished me in the short term. Diaz hasn't played yet, but let's say Diaz blanks tonight, right? Foden's punished me right now, but come game week 35, Diaz might have got more points between game week 31 and game week 35. So in the long run, it's like, well, yeah, I lost 1 game week, but I won 5 game weeks, and winning 5 game weeks is better than winning 1. So, but I'll probably have Foden or KDB by Luton anyway. For Son.
Don't buy KDB, please.
Because I've got the money, but
no, he's past it. It's not that he's not a good player. It's just that I don't think he's got the fitness to play like, game in, game out anyway. And obviously, Pep got to prioritize the Champions League.
I still wish I did do that move back in 2026.
No, that was my worst decision of this season, like ever in the entire season. Like buying KDB was one of the was the worst decision. And I think managers make a good point there, which the same point that I made earlier. Like you going without any Man City player. You Rob, attacker. Is surprising because you can't just ride them off just like that.
I'll tell you what, it was going to be Son because obviously they blank in 34, but I just saw, I saw West Ham and Forest and Newcastle, and I just thought Son against Foden as face value, Son's better. As an FPL asset.
No, I get that. I get that. So I think in one of my chat I told you like you go 2 Liverpool attack and 1 of Foden or Haaland, right? So 1 of Darwin and Diaz would easily be Haaland or Foden for you, and then it'll be a lot more balanced. But obviously now I get what you're trying to do. Like you go in all in with your bets and see what happened kind of thing. Whereas obviously my style of play is always aiming for a more balanced approach because I'm sort of like managing risks at the same time as trying to attack the game. So
Harry's just come in and said Saka's out for the weekend.
Is that the actual FPL Harry, or is that just like?
That's gonna be interesting. Yeah. Which,
no,
but
it's not the real FPL Harry.
Yeah, it's happened before. Anyways, welcome.
Anyway,
another
even if that is the case, it's not that surprising because he was out for he was out of training, right, before he played the last game, and obviously he was not fit enough to play this game. It's only a couple of days away from the weekend. It's if he's out for the weekend, it's not it's not that surprising at all. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'm not gonna sell him regardless. Maybe just moving on to my team then, because I think Ryan team looks great.
All right,
Fingers crossed
so
then.
Tien, yours is up now.
Yeah. So just for people listening in, I've got Dubravka in goal. My other goalkeeper is Ariola, so he's just gonna be bench if he's not fit. In defense, I got Saliba and Gabriel, and at the moment I got Alex Moreno, Doughty, and Brentwaite. Obviously, similar to you, Ryan, I'll have to pick who to play because they're all kind of similar pros and cons kind of thing. In midfield, I've got Saka, Son, Foden, Palmer, and Salah. And up top, I've got Haaland and Solanke. And then on the bench, I've got Muniz. And obviously, the other defenders, Doughty or Brentwaite. So the current state of play is that I've got only one free transfers left. I spent all my money, so I've got 0 in the bank. So for for this past game week, I took a hit to buy Haaland and Muniz for Watkins and Morris. So obviously I was choosing between going Haaland or Darwin, but Darwin is on my pen list, so I just like, nah, I'm not going there again. I'm giving up on the Powerball, buying tickets to the Powerball. So I took the hit for Haaland. Obviously hasn't paid off because he didn't even play, but that's fine. He's in for the long run anyway. So the early plan that I have is to roll in 32. So even if Saka is out, I don't care because I've got plenty on the bench to cover. And then using the 3 free transfer between now and 34, basically to dead end the team, and end up with probably 9 double game week players. So I think it'll got to be double game week players with Haaland, potentially Foden as well. He's the 2 double game week players. So Son will have to make way to enable the funds, and then I'll just wildcard him back in 35 to set up for the double, and then setting up the team for the end of the season. So with no bench boost left, I don't really need to worry about the bench. I'll just focus my money on the starting 11, try to get the strongest players, and I think the attack I quite like, so I'll try to keep similar, front 7 or front 8, and then just fix the defense a little bit. Obviously no chips, so gonna brace myself for 34 and 37 when people play free hit and bench boost and all that sort of stuff. So I think I'm just gonna minimize and mitigate by being sensible, not taking too many hits, focusing on getting good players, not chasing the doubles too much, not chasing points, not getting the players that I don't have who return, because every week there will be players who return that you don't have, and you just got to accept that you can't have everyone. And I think that has helped me in the last few weeks, where I kind of took my foot off the pedal a little bit in terms of like, I don't like my defense, but I just play them. And so, Gabriel kept a clean sheet against Messi. No one expected that, but he did. I benched one of them, so that was kind of like sort of take the half risk approach. But then I got Moreno's clean sheet as well, kind of unexpectedly. So you never know. Like with defense, there's no point chasing the next big thing. Like people say, oh, you got to target Liverpool defense and whatever Man City defense. But like at the end of the day, it's 2 points or 6 points. Like I'm not gonna take a hit for defender, hoping to break even. That is essentially what you normally get with defender, right? If they keep a clean sheet, then you break even. What's the point? Like you just play who you got and hope for the best. And then obviously this game week, Arsenal keep the double clean sheet, so happy day. It feels like having a double defense is like you're collecting your tension or something. Like every week you expect clean sheet, and when you get a clean sheet, like yeah, great, 6 points, 6 points, I'll take that. So yeah, I think the decision for me is just mainly who do I play this week and who do I bench, and then basically who to get for the double 34s. I actually quite like Diaz, so Diaz might be the one coming for Son, and then one of the defenders will probably go to, I don't know, Virgil van Dijk, for example. So triple up on Liverpool just to sort of somewhat cover the free hit in 34, and maybe one of the goalkeeper could become a double game week goalkeeper, and I think that will set me up for 34, and then the wild card 35 will just set up for 37, and the last few game weeks, and hope for the best. That's it.
Yeah, I'm 1984 said earlier about the fact that I went for triple Liverpool attack is that'll really help me cover free hit in 34, because a lot of people will just go for that triple Liverpool attack that I'll have normally. The only issue with your team is Moreno. That's it. Like, Solanke's absolutely killing it this season. He's only out for me because, like I said, my sole tactic was top four or top four chasing, right? I'm going for like quality teams, and Bournemouth at times still just like Solanke just fantastic. He is like, he's got Bournemouth by the bootstraps and he's pulling him up, right? It's like, it reminds me of Tony for Brentford as well. Like, you're looking at a class player that has to absolutely fight and be the one to get something from that. And Haaland is obviously Haaland. But yeah, apart from Dubravka, who was out for me because I think by the time the doubles come around, he might not be there. People are calling.
He will be the keeper. Pope is out.
No, he's not. He's not.
Really?
The guy was too early and he corrected himself later on.
Oh.
Yeah, because he is going to be back, which is why I got rid of... Because I sold Dubravka and I had all that money in him, like 0.4. So I got Dubravka like as soon as Pope was out when I had Dubravka. And the guy was like, yeah, Pope's out for the season. And I sold Dubravka. And then I saw... I sold him, I brought him back. And then it said like, oh, a guy with like 85,000 followers was like, yeah, he's going to be in training and be back still for the end of the season, the last like 3-4 games. So that's why Dubravka was out for me. But yeah, that guy tweeted too fast, and he's only got a couple of thousand followers, and he's independently linked with like Newcastle paper. But the guy with like 85,000 followers was just like, no, Pope is aiming to be back. But you'll be wildcarding. If you wildcard in 35, Areola should be back by then.
I don't want him. Like, why would I want West Ham? I could get like
he has no debt.
No. I mean, because you might not have a goalkeeper. Because if you're wildcarding 35, you have to. Areola's on your bench, and Dubravka might be dropped by then.
Oh, don't worry. Both of us are doing a keeper transfer by then.
But you said don't do keeper transfers to me.
That's what, dead ending. Like, I'm dead ending.
Yeah, but you might not have a goalkeeper by then, because Areola might be out injured and Dubravka will be dropped.
Wait, how fast is Pope coming back?
Not for the next 2 weeks. No way.
Game week 35 is in 2 weeks. Is it really?
So I'm playing. I'm playing Dubravka 32 and 33. By 34, I'll get a double game week goalkeeper.
Yeah. So you are making a goalkeeper transfer?
Yeah, but dead ending. So that's the advantage.
Yeah, I'm dead ending, so I'm just getting the best double game week player that I could afford.
Why can you make a goalkeeper transfer and I can't? What's the difference?
You played the wildcard.
Because you've already wildcarded.
Yeah, but it's still a transfer. It doesn't mean anything. I transfer a goalkeeper in, I'll use him for the rest of the season. You're transferring a goalkeeper in and then wildcarding him out. So mine makes more sense.
We have a free transfer
to burn. The point is,
I have a free transfer to burn because I've just wildcarded. So I don't have any transfers to worry about. You might have another injury, but this is the week I'm going to do a goalkeeper transfer. Bam, you've got an injury. You're taking a hit.
That's possible, yes.
I don't have that problem. I've wildcarded. I shouldn't have any. I've got 2 flags already, and I've just wildcarded, but I shouldn't have any. That's my point. Like, you're making a goalkeeper transfer and then wildcarding. You're using a precious free transfer. Well, you don't have a goalkeeper then. There.
I don't care. I mean, if I don't have a goalkeeper, I lose out like what 2 points. Like, who cares?
True.
I
But no, a double game week, it always makes sense because.
By 34, whatever money I have, I'll make the best transfer for that game week.
And it might be the goalkeeper. Yeah.
Because like, maybe I got like 4.7 in the bank. So like after selling, let's say selling Areola, I've got 4.7. That's all I can have then, and that's what I do.
Well, Areola might be fit
like
by then because.
Yeah, the point is it doesn't
weeks.
matter. Like by 34, I've got 1 free transfer or 2. I'll just do whatever I can with the money I've got. That's it.
But bottom line is, team looks great. Like I said as well, I agree. I think the dead end to 35, like finish 34, then walk hard straight after. I think still that's the best play, especially if you don't have any other chips left. But yeah, Solanke's killing it. But I would maybe move him if I was wildcarded. I moved him to a more attacking player, like Isaac in a better team. So, but apart from that, 3. You got Foden. 4 of your midfielders is the same as mine. Saka, Son, Palmer, Salah, and I think you've got those 4 as well, Ryan. Right?
No Son sold this week for Salah, and no Foden obviously sold last week for Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer has to be a. It's an absolute given. Like, it's why I can afford and why we can all afford these teams, because he's doing so good. Chelsea are going to have 2 doubles, and he's absolutely killing it. It's an absolute give me. It's an open goal. If there's anyone without Palmer in the side, I don't understand it, because it's that easy. But yeah, looks great. Reason why you've got a great rank. Just Moreno's the only questionable one. You'd start Moreno against this Brentford. I'm just looking at Branthwaite's got Burnley and Doherty's got Bournemouth.
Yeah, I've been switching them around. It's not. Yeah.
I'm just worried to get dropped because didn't he make a really big mistake?
Well, he was
and then got pulled
this game week. He was dropped this game week, so who knows?
Was it this game week? Because I saw it, or did he come on? He made a really big mistake.
Yeah. So Dean has started, and I think he only came on in the last,
19 minutes.
20 minutes.
But he's played 19, 62, 62, 32, 78, 58.
That's what you like.
No, it's
62. No, come on for 62.
Only
clean sheet locked.
That's
That's what he wants.
Except one clean sheet. He got 1 clean sheet there, but he's only done 62 twice. He has 1, 2, 3 fixtures under 60 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. He kept a clean sheet for me last week.
But not this week.
That's all you want.
But
I mean, I could play Brentford as well.
Against Doherty's got Bournemouth, but you're looking at attacking returns from that, aren't you? I hope Saka doesn't play this weekend because his effective ownership's so high, and I've got Semenyo on my bench with Luton away.
I want to play Muniz. I really want to play Muniz, really.
I can't drop Saka.
Nah.
No. Nah. You have to keep it for the double.
I'm just hoping that if Saka doesn't play, then Muniz come on. Just like this week. Like Muniz coming on for Saka for 2 points, but that's all right. That's what it is. That's why I have
Garnacho against Liverpool. Maybe I'll have something to support in that game.
You never know. Garnacho can score against Liverpool.
Yeah, I see it. I honestly see, because we've said before about games like this. I know United are doing really bad, but Liverpool and United form goes out the window. Liverpool can go there and smash them 7-0. United could win 7-0. Like it's always one of those games where it just feels like it's absolutely wild. Like if both teams go at it, attack each other, it goes either way. Form goes out the window and you can see a ridiculous score. I think captaincy is the only last point. I'm honestly thinking I'm going to put it on Salah. It's on Salah right now. I've already said it's a crazy game. I don't see a goalless draw. I don't see both teams not conceding, and you've got to go with Salah, the talisman, the penalty taker. I've already said Liverpool don't really care about the European competition. They're still in the title race, right? So Salah's going to be playing unless he's injured. United have conceded the most shots, worse XG, and it comes down to trust. I know I'm sat here with Son at home to Nottingham Forest, and he, of course, is a class player, but it feels like some of these results, like Luton, didn't his return come like in the last 5 minutes? Like, it feels like a lot of the Spurs things that he keeps getting, it's like it's really late. Apart from the Villa 4-0, which I didn't really see coming at Aston Villa, but you know,
that was also late, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
It was what?
That was also like a late return.
His goal.
Yeah.
But you know, lost 3-0 at Fulham. I trust Son. I'm not fully there trusting Spurs still. Because there's been some results this season where they've won it in like the 90th minute against teams that they should be smashing Luton with all the defensive issues that they've got, and they beat them 2-1. They shouldn't be going to Fulham and losing 3-0. They shouldn't be losing at home to Wolves 2-1.
Be careful with the narrative. Because like last game week, right? So like he hit the post, like what is it? Like the ball go the post and the post. Like how often that, like if he score that, then your narrative is gone, right? So yeah, I think just be careful with the narrative. Like he's still the talisman of the team. He seemed to play up front.
Well, isn't he pushed out to the wing now?
No, he's still
because I've seen, but the next game he could be, if Richarlison's back, we could see him back on the wing. Because I saw a bunch of
hasn't been starting at all
because he's coming back from injury. But from what I saw from Spurs fans, they thought he was going to be out wide in the game that's just gone against West Ham, and they look knackered. Oh, both teams were absolutely gassed at the end.
They did.
Absolutely gassed.
Like that. Yeah, that game was pretty horrible to watch. But yeah, like you know that's the thing. Like you know you can't just.
But I put it on the screen as well. Forest's defense is mid upper, like is it top 10? 4, 5, 6,
Forest defense is
ninth.
Actually pretty good.
Yeah, ninth best for expected goals conceded. And if you look at the goals conceded, they're mid-table. They've conceded 20 shots in 6 games, which is better than Liverpool, Brighton, Bournemouth, Palace, United, Spurs, Wolves, Fulham, Everton, basically almost everyone, except Arsenal and Manchester City. So they're third in the Premier League for shots conceded and 9th for expected goals conceded. So and they're fighting for their lives, they're fighting to stay in the league, whereas United and Liverpool, I see it as like, that could be like a 3-3, right, or a 4-4. Or probably,
and then Salah, Salah, if he put in Sealand performance like the other day, then some of those shots will come in next time.
Yeah, that's we apart from the Darwin rule, like if I see a player have the most amounts of shots that they've ever had, and it's someone like Mo Salah, that doesn't make me feel sad for the next game. That makes me feel excited for Sheffield United tonight, right? Compared to
he tends to score against United as well. Salah, for some other reason,
he does love playing United.
So he's my captain.
Like as I said, like it's quite open. I think Son is a good option. Salah's a good option. Palmer is a great option.
That's trust as well.
Like
trust for Chelsea.
A fully rested Haaland, I think he's gonna play 90. Hungry as well. Who knows? Like he could turn up and score a hat-trick next. Like it's not going to surprise me if that happened, because I think he was about to come on. I think like KDB and Haaland and everything was like warming up, and then Foden scored his second goal, and then Pep just changed the whole thing. So you can imagine like Haaland getting frustrated and hungry for not having any minutes, and put all that firepower into Palace. But once again, you can draw any narrative you want. But at the end of the day, Son, Salah, Haaland, they are proven players, right? They premium for a reason, so they can turn up and do the business. And Palmer is the new kid on the block who has been, has proven once again to be the talisman of Chelsea now, playing the weaker teams as well.
Yeah, I'm
So
probably on
he's
Palmer
also
at the moment.
yeah.
I just want to point out Freddie's point on Palmer. Apart from the first game of the season when Palmer had just joined and he played 10 minutes against Burnley, he's right. He bullies weak defensive sides. Game week 8, Burnley away, 12-pointer. Spurs away at the time when they were really low in the defensive issue, 12-pointer. Sheffield United at home, 14-pointer. Luton away, 18-pointer. Palace away, 10. Newcastle at home, 13. Burnley at home, 15. So
I think we need to ignore Price when it comes to Palmer. Kind of have
it's difficult, isn't it, to do that?
It is difficult.
It's just
difficult,
trust for Chelsea for me.
Yeah,
That's
just telling myself I'm captaining Palmer when I've got Haaland, Salah, and Son in my team. It's very difficult. I just can't get around. I do it. I mean, it may be the right play, but I just can't. Somehow, I just have that sort of the premium bias that I've got these players in so that I can captain them.
It's because it's Chelsea.
And here I am captaining a sub 6 million player. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense in my mind. But it's just me.
Yeah, just Chelsea. I don't trust them. It's a bigger feeling than I said about Son. Look, they only beat Sheffield United 2-0 at home last time, and it took them a while to break through. So I just don't trust Chelsea at all. I trust Son. I just don't trust the whole team. Whereas Liverpool, I trust their attack completely. Haaland, I trust their attack completely. Right? I trust Liverpool. I trust Man City. I don't trust Chelsea, and that's the big one for me.
I think the fixtures today will tell us a little bit more. I'm on Palmer right now, but if I see United just collapse against Chelsea, then I might switch it.
But what if Palmer does well against United?
That's fine. That won't really change this thing because I'm anyway on Palmer for the moment. I just need to see United's state of mind more than Chelsea. I have faith on Palmer. Obviously, Chelsea is a different story. As an FPL player, I have faith on Palmer in terms of being able to do something. Now, obviously, the penalty they got the last week was a bit lucky. Probably shouldn't have got it. But even then, if you look at I keep this fixtures are king, right? And out of all the fixtures, Palmer has the best fixture this week. And then after that, you get the whole Haaland, Salah, but Salah is playing on paper a derby tough fixture, but he does tend to score. Haaland against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, if you look at their defensive numbers in the last 6 game weeks, I think they're second right now for defense in the last 6 game weeks. So they're also a very top tier defense that needs to be kind of considered as well, especially at home. They're even better defense at home. So there can be various narratives thrown, and obviously we've spoken about the Spurs narrative when it comes to Son. So I guess it comes down to who you can trust. And both, I don't have Son, so I can't, no way of thinking about him. But between Haaland, Salah, and Palmer, at least on this season, for the moment, I am okay with either giving it to Palmer or Salah. But it'll come down to, I think, how United play against Chelsea. If they collapse badly, then yeah, I'll switch.
Do you want another narrative?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
So for the last few weeks, I always captain the player that play later in the game.
Oh yeah, I tend to do that as well. Yes. If possible.
Because it generally, give you a bit of hope and a little bit of rank boost as well at the end. So Son plays last.
I don't have Son, but Palmer plays last for me, so.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, I like to watch my captain, and I'll watch United Liverpool, but I won't be awake for Spurs and Forest.
There we go.
So that's
play
my
any
narrative.
you.
But you know what the early kickoff is? Crystal Palace against Manchester City.
I'm
Yeah,
not
not
going captain. Gandhi wins.
Very
I'll surrender.
unlikely. Yeah, very unlikely to captain Haaland. So yeah, that's out of the equation. I think it will be between Salah. Yeah, Salah and Son for me.
All right, great. I think that'll be it for our FPL therapy today. I feel cleansed. I will admit it is a mistake. I should have got Foden. He was in my side. I even said to you first, T, and I was like, so many people are selling Foden. Why? And you're like, he's going to make him pay. I'm like, yeah, he is. I'm not going to put him in my wildcard team. I don't know why. I should have just put Foden in instead of Son or...
Yeah, I think
it should have been Son. It should have been Son. I know it. I know
one
it.
of my last messages to you before my final team was like, I think I said Foden.
You said City attack and Haaland's like the best one, so it'd be surprised to go without an attacker. But it should have. I'll admit it.
Yeah, but when you were kind of determined to go without Haaland, and then I think you were switching between double defense.
It was because it was Van Dijk and Foden against Diaz and Gabriel. I think it was.
I think it was Stones or something. But anyway,
because I had double City defense. I had Gvardiol and Akanji, and I had Stones in at that point. Yeah.
Anyway, too late now.
It is what it is. But I'll admit that was a mistake. That was bad FPL play. I went too attacking with the triple.
Could still do well. Like if Liverpool smashed
it would have been fine if I didn't have Son. I know Son blanked, but I should have just dropped Son because he's got Newcastle on a blank. West Ham, Newcastle blank, and Arsenal. I should have just dropped Son. But that's on me. I completely take the blame. I should have just gone Foden over Son.
He could score a hat-trick next week, so.
Who's Son?
Swings and roundabouts.
Against Newcastle? I mean,
considering... Forest, right? Sorry,
Forest. Yeah, Forest, my bad, yeah.
Maybe you should correct your mistake by captaining Son.
No, thank you. No, I'm going Salah.
Double down on your
I'm going Salah. But just because, you two are United fans, so if Salah smashes it, I'm just going to be like, hey, my captain did well. Let's talk about Salah, eh? And you're going to be like, yeah, I did really well against Man United.
Well, I'm used to it.
Yeah,
it happens every season.
True, yeah. I think, I'm 1974 said in the chat, he's a 45-year-old United supporter, Salah captain. There you go. Yep. Eases the pain, right? You want, oh God, we're 4-0 down. FPL's just a little bit of help, but there you go. Anyway, thanks for joining, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and maybe probably see you next week. It'd be great.
Green arrow, everybody.